Welcome to PTA, boys and girls.
Hello, welcome friends to the Season 25 return of Pardon the Autism. We have two special guests tonight and a whole lot of forum drama, so this edition should be pretty entertaining. So I'm Stapler, and joining me is...
Iggy.
Your boy Prizzles.
Under control as well.
Exactly.
His first,
Yep.
appearance on the show. Iggy might have appeared before, I can't remember, but anyway. The first thing
I was a
on the
mystery
agenda,
guest, dog. Hold on.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You were a mystery guest. That's right. Anyway, the first thing on the table is, of course, the Huskies situation. So we've got El Diablo coming into Snake, and then immediately getting Lindros. Yigi, fucking shut up with your goddamn smoking. Anyway, we have Diablo snaking to get Lindros. What do we feel about that?
Well, I guess I'll go first since I made a lot of topics and polls about it. About the whole situation, I think that the main reason the league is mad about what has happened is, one, that we just came out of a pick your own team season for the past 2 seasons, I'm guessing, season 23 and 24, and these guys just come in and they're able to make their own team with their demands that if they don't get Lindros, they won't play in this league. That's going to I'm saying that to Diablo and Pixels and Audi if he wasn't suspended. But I think that that's the biggest concern. I don't think anyone is scared of them as long as they do it in a legit way through trades or waivers or whatever the rule is. So I think the main issue is Diablo, or bringing back Huskies and just pretty much demanding that if he doesn't get Lindros, he won't play, and that our admins are scared because we're gonna have one team that's gonna be forfeiting pretty much the remainder of the season, and nobody is willing to really take GM after 3 weeks of shitstorm and losses and stuff. So it's a really tricky situation right now. But I'll let Under or Stapler or one of you comment on it.
Well, I think it's all
Furthermore.
caused by Addy getting suspended. Because under normal circumstances, he would still be on the team, and then Diablo would be used by waiver. And so then they have a decent roster, and he can trade Addy or whatever. But Addy getting suspended kind of screws them over.
And even then, it's not like they still couldn't trade for Lindros or whoever with what they have, because they have 3 draft picks, so first, a third, and a fifth. They have Red, who Chinny wants, so they'd be able to trade for some decent players that they could trade out. It's not like they wouldn't be able to create their team fairly,
Right. And all this. Stapler, did you want to comment something or?
Well, I'm just laughing at the whole situation because we've been here before with the Huskies many times. I mean, Diablo is one of the snakiest GMs in league history, along with Chinny, Joe, and all the rest. I mean, I posted a little call-out thread. Not thread, but a couple posts I was calling him out, like, before when, in Season 19, he slimed, who was it, Rygor or Sean? I can't remember who was the GM of Winter at that time, to get Nantes. And everyone was upset in the league at that time because Cleo was dead, Waza was dead, and you just get one of the top players in the league for nothing. I mean, We've been here before. This shit happens like almost every season. They got Kiss Season 18 because he refused to play for any team that wasn't the Huskies or the Isles. And I believe Haxbob traded him for like a 4th or some shit, or he was trying to. Yeah. It's very, very repetitive, and I don't understand why we keep allowing it to happen. So
But
I guess something will happen this time, which is interesting.
Back then it was okay though, but then we had to make a rule about it, like if dead players you couldn't trade kind of thing. So that was fixed. So the system's working fine, and then they went entirely around the system to get 2 free players for the price of 1 waiver.
And one of the things that El Diablo was telling me was that to absolve El Diablo somewhat of guilt here. I mean, he did snake and he did his usual thing, but it's his usual thing. We should expect that from him. What Nape did that was different and what was objectionable was that he didn't really look for other GMs. He just, oh, El Diablo's right there. I'll ask him. Oh, you want this to be GM? Yeah, sure. It's a great idea. And
Yeah,
then
there was no public post about it.
there was no public posts about it. I mean, we all thought Addy should have been removed during the draft.
Honestly, I
So-
think that in this scenario, Nape should have started to look for a new GM at least after the first week,
After the
of,
first game, if you saw
or
that.
even the first game, because I mean, or at least by that Wednesday night, the last game of the first week, because they had 2 forfeits and an 8-0 game as their season opener.
Yeah,
and,
clearly the team's dead at that point.
You know, I don't think I would blame Diablo too much in this. Yes, he's I think a snake, but honestly, I think this is a staff issue, and whoever our division directors, I think it's Flossie and Jeff, they should have at least talked to Nape about it and found a solution or tried to find a solution to this before it came to this point right now. Where
So
I can
that's
agree with
that's a
that,
nice
even the bit about
segue.
Diablo.
Wait, so the next section of the show, we'll be talking about the staff issues specifically. So
Yeah.
there's been problems with the staff, like with communication with each other. I know Jeff's given me some caps of the staff kick chat, which I was part of last season. It was the same issue. Basically, if you talk in there, no one ever replies. Like very little gets done in that chat. And I know lots of players who were on staff, like Scott Bala, Negbro, who aren't really active on kick. They feel left out, and it's kind of confusing. So, yeah,
And we will talk about that more later.
right, but
So, do you think them getting Diablo without a waiver is unfair? Are y'all all against that?
I personally am. Well, I kind of
yeah.
have to
Well-
be, because it's the main reason is I think it's a disadvantage for all the other GMs, D1 including D2 GMs, which of course we're not gonna include D2 GMs too much in this. Sorry, because these players are not gonna play in D2. We all know that. So it mainly concerns the D1 GMs, and I just think that Diablo is a really really good player, and this is not like a D2 player getting GM and Lindros being automatically put on that team. You're pretty much creating the North American Hacksball team, which went against in Turkey in the finals by going around the rules of the league, or snaking their way around to bring that team together. So it's I'm definitely against it, but
Another point to be had there, though, is like you say, like Diablo's a very good player. I think that's like obvious, but what would happen, like devil's advocate, if it was like a really bad player that stepped up to GM?
Well, that's the thing. Don't you think they need compensation for Addy getting banned?
Yeah, I do, but I think part
Does
of the
them
problem,
getting
like, is
Diablo...
that it is a special situation, And I think that if you're gonna remove I don't know, I wouldn't say Addy's an elite player. I'd say he's like above average at best. But then you get Diablo as a replacement. That's like a free upgrade, and then you also get Lindros.
yeah, and I don't think Pixels nor Diablo would play without Lindros, even if you give them back Audi, and I'm just saying that based on what they have said, and they were pretty
He's already
serious about
played
it.
2 games without him. I mean, Diablo
Well-
has said he'll stick to his word, and going off this thread I made just like an hour ago or something. I mean, I don't want to get too into the reasons why I made the glowing thread about him and his history and all that. But anyway, he said he'll listen to this poll that I made. So if you have an opinion on this, definitely go vote in that.
Yeah. But what do you think about it, Frizzle? What do you think? Do you think it was fair? I know you asked the question, but I kind of want to get your
Well,
opinion on that.
I mean, do you think just giving them Diablo with the waiver makes them competitive enough?
That's if it's competitiveness that we need in the league right now,
I
because
think
I
they've already
personally think
proven that they're
But that's what
competitive with
Pixel's
that.
coming back, because he expects Lindros to come back. Does Pixel
Right.
stay active? I mean, Red looks dead.
But here's the thing: he did get online. Like Chinny wants Red to come back and play on his team, so they'd still be able to trade him and at least get something for him.
right. I think they can still make a good team out of this without even Lindros, and I think it'll be a challenge for them. It'll be a first for these kind of players, especially for El Diablo, who has pretty much never played on a really
For both of them.
unstacked bad for both of them, even Pixels as well. I think maybe except his first season, or well, he was in D2. I'm sorry. Um, so it'll be a new challenge for them, and I think that's the route they should take on this, and kind of prove that they can do it without Lindros or without snaking their way around. I'm sorry if it offends anybody, but you know, I think that's the route they should take. Just go without Lindros, and they can still make a good team out of it, and
I think
might
they
even get
definitely
Audi
be a good
back,
team.
especially after the game we had against them. I mean, Turtles versus Huskies. I mean, they destroyed us. 4-1 without even Lindros, with literally two new players, Hung and unlucky GK.
They'd still have resources to change and trade like everybody else. So
Right.
I agree that they'd be a good team. I know Stapler wants to move on to talk about the staff issues, so I'll let him kind of introduce, what's going
I
on
already
right
did
now with
before,
staff.
though. We went back to the Huskies. Anyway, all that aside, let's move on to how we'd fix current staff. Like, Brizzle, what sort of position are you looking for? And do you think you, Scott, and the other people being added on can help change staff for the better?
Well, I think for my representation, it would be from the player's perspective. So, what I posted is I would want a sub person underneath me for D1 and D2. So my vote would basically be 3 people voting for that vote. I mean, it still counts as one vote, but it has a greater representation of the players.
So a triple players rep kind of thing? That sounds like a literal players union.
Essentially,
Not that I'm
kinda.
against it. It sounds cool.
I mean, so you get voices from D1 and D2.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
someone like, I would have someone like, Nantes for D1, and then I don't know who
Right.
for D2.
We definitely need more D2 representation. That's always been a problem on staff, I feel like.
Yeah, they need to have some input on this. I mean, even though they're D2 players, they're a different division. I think that we still have to value their
User
opinion.
in your channel timed out.
So you're right about that. I mean, definitely having one person from D1 and one person from D2 can really balance some things out, or at least, I mean, we can give it a try.
Exactly, and I just like to see their voice, like, because there's been this obvious blowback to the Husky situation, so kind of including
kind
their
of like felt
feedback.
left out. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nape definitely needs to rely on other people besides himself. I don't know if it's because people aren't volunteering or helping out. I don't know, because I haven't been involved, but
From what I've heard from Nape, he said that most of the things he does himself instead of asking others for help. But I really think that it should be teamwork, and everybody should have specific jobs that, or responsibilities that they have to look after. Whether you're a co-commish, division director, commish, whatever your position may be in the staff, everybody has to have their own responsibilities, and that's pretty much what they have to look after.
and that was one of the biggest flaws with TT. He did everything by himself, and so a lot of people felt like they didn't have a voice.
Right.
I don't know what
feel-
your experience was, Stapler.
I feel like when I was players rep, like I was really helping new players get involved. It's definitely a position we need on staff.
Yeah.
You guys want to do power rankings now?
Sure.
Well, I mean, who else would you suggest, being a commish though? Because I think Nate said it was just him, and there needs to be 3 people. Like, who are some of the people you two would want to see?
Personally, I think Nape should continue being a commish, and
Yeah, I'm actually fine with Nate being commish. Just instead of Hash Browns and TGFP being co-commishes, I mean, TGFP should still be on staff, but I don't think he's active enough in discussions, at least when I was on staff. It might have changed, and he's been posting a little bit now, but really it should be the more active people. Like, I think Jeff has really turned a corner, and he's a really valuable member of the staff now, and he's making good decisions. He should be able to step up and be co-commish now. Then have someone like, I don't know, Scott Bala, or if Nantes is sincere and wants to be on staff, make him teams manager, or I don't know who else would have a third wheel as a co-commish.
I think I'm not sure what Hash's opinions are on this, whether he would even step up there. I mean, I think he's not too active, I guess, on the forums, but I definitely think that if the commissioners are Nape, Jeff, and Hash Browns, or
Well, Hash Browns is
like
currently a co-commish, and basically what Nape's
right,
telling me is Nape will go to him for big issues, like with TGFP as well, and include them. But day-to-day
right,
stuff, they won't. I'd like to see more involved people be co-commished, though,
right.
so
I
we
mean,
don't get somebody like Rowdy who's just never there.
the only reason I put Hash in there because I think these are players or these are people with kind of different opinions, and they're calm.
Yeah.
They're not they're mature enough to discuss it between each other and come up to a good solution, a fair solution, something that at least most of the league would like in whatever they may have to vote or decide on in the future, whatever issue or whatever rule or whatever that comes in their way on their table. Um, but I mean, honestly, it's at the end of the day, I still think Nape should continue being a commish, unless TT might want to come back. But then there would still have to be. I mean, I think I still would like to see Nape, even if TT comes back on
No,
there.
please don't.
But that's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a question whether if people want TT back or not. And
They don't.
because,
Absolutely not, dude.
yeah.
I think it's fine for Nate to do most of the work as
Your
long as he goes
channel
to
was
other people
edited.
for like when big decisions, then there needs to be a vote.
Right.
User joined your channel.
I died.
Your channel was
He
edited.
has returned. Mystery
Welcome
guest
back,
under
mate.
control. So, do you have anything to say about the staff before we move on to power rankings?
Oh yeah, they fucked up, but they can still
No,
fix
like
it.
who should be, or were you on the? I'm sorry. to cut
Hey,
you
why
off.
don't we have Under as co-commish?
Yeah, why haven't you ever been in with staff
Hello?
under?
Why aren't you staff?
I have been staff, but it's always been like the small stuff, like match report stuff.
Well, yeah, would you ever want to be like a co-commish or like division director?
I have no idea.
Dude, I put forward Under Control's name. I mean, like, Hash Browns is barely active. Why does he always get to be co-commish and all these cool shit? Put Under in charge of the league. Do it.
Okay, not in charge of the league, but like as a part of a
Well, yeah,
bigger staff.
that's what I mean.
that'd be fine.
One of the co-commissions and all that kind of shit.
Well, yeah, I'd support Under because he's seen D1, D2, D3, and been around for a while.
I mean,
Well,
I
I've seen
definitely think
D3.
that the commish, whoever's on the commish group, has to be a combination of players, or from the
Yeah,
past that
different
has been in this
feelings, etc.
league. Like that has been in the league. That has been in this league pretty much before season 10.
Yeah,
I
I've
would
seen
say-
all the different admins, different league
Right.
structure.
Right, and see or understand more of how the league operates, or how the league operated, or how the league reacted on certain issues that we've had in the past. So yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be someone that's been here a long time, and that's still willing to take on the job.
All right, let's move on to power rankings so we can compare our legitimate power rankings to Yigi's complete meme.
Oh, Lizard. Okay.
What the hell does that mean? Anyway.
Well, it's like I said before season 10.
And so we've all got LAHC at the top. Like, we can talk a little bit about them though. Prizzle, how do you think your team's improved?
I mean, ever since I've got here, we haven't lost, so
Did we
I
make a
think
mistake Under?
Nah, dude. Frizzle
Nah.
sucks.
I think right now we're just trying to figure out our lineup, who's gonna mid, who's gonna GK, and we have kind of depth and lag issues. I mean, Sock is a good fifth man, but other than that, we don't really have anyone.
Yeah, I think you guys really miss having Crumbler, like, not necessarily as a starter, but he's a solid contributor, and you could always rely on him to be GK. Stock, I mean, he's a good player, but at GK, it's kind of weird seeing him play there. I don't know, he's worked out, but
Yeah,
I
try
guess over
playing with him.
season-
I think on LAFC, I think they have a good team, but I'll admit this, I certainly did not see them winning as many games as they have won so far. With
Part of it's the
Frizzle.
schedule, I feel like. I mean,
It's-
they've played teams when they've missed players, and they did just get a forfeit win,
Yeah.
which is what put them to the top.
But I think Frizzle has really been a key player.
Yeah,
Their
definitely.
success so far.
Like
which
I've always been consistent on this. Prizzle, you're really fun mid to play with. I mean, I think you fit the team a lot better than Miles. I mean, at least with his ping. I don't understand what's wrong with his computer. I've tried to figure it out with him, but I think he's done so.
I think he
Boy's
should
got
maybe
that
be better
Iowa
off at
internet.
GK. Yeah, his internet's terrible. I haven't seen him GK too much though. It's mainly been stock when I'm at mid, just because he's lagging. He seems a little too aggressive at GK, but I don't know.
right.
So after that, Yigi and Prizzle both put Mayberry second. I mean, I was the only one who gave some respect and put Gunman at number 2. We did beat
Ooh,
Gunman
Gunman.
Wednesday, but they were missing Rich. And I think when they have a full squad, they are, at this moment, I'd say the strongest team in the league, just based on like past ability. They are the cup winners, and Rich isn't as good as Fruit, but I don't know. I just give respect where it's due. Until they start losing like next week, then yeah, I like bumping.
Honestly, I think that not having Furd again this season really hurts them because they don't really have a true forward, even though Rich has been stepping up and he's been playing nice. But I think that they really have to somehow get Furd back or someone that can make 3 out of 3 games a week, and then they could get up there. But honestly, I think if you put even if you put full squad gunmen against full squad Mayberries, I think Mayberries would come on top. Um, the main reason I think that is because Nantes has been playing on a really different level the past couple of games, even though they've lost some and they won some. Um, and with Irving, Josh at GK, somebody who's really experienced and who's really a top GK in this league, um, and with the addition of or Spart and Jeff at forward, I think they can beat the gunmen.
Well, to be fair,
Full
you
head
kind
on.
of if you mention the Bayberries and Spart, well, Spart hasn't played the last couple of games, and so TGFP I will give a lot of credit to because he's improved. Actually, he's been sort of like a fifth man tier player, and
Yeah.
whenever he's had to go into the starting lineup like permanently, it's been iffy. But this season, he's turned it on, and he's playing some solid defense, which is really necessary on this team because Nantes is pretty much the only one who plays defense. So I'm really impressed by him. And if Mayberries were to continue being a contender, I think him or Spart will definitely be the player that puts them over top. And as long as Spart's on the sidelines, like I love the guy and I was going to draft him, but as long as that situation is unresolved, there will be question marks. We'll see if they can go all the way.
I think they actually need to put Nantes at D forward and Jeff at mid, because Nantes will really help balance off Spart. Because right now
Really
they have Jeff and Spart, who are both CPs.
Right, in the playoffs, we might see that. I feel like we might see Jeff move to mid, or maybe Spart. Spart might be more natural there.
And I think Jeff has better chem with Josh.
Dude,
and
his
they actually
chem
used
last
their
season,
GK, like,
mid GK was amazing.
They used Josh like as a GK far more than any other team.
Definitely. I mean, even more than when Josh has played with Lindros, I feel like they just feed Josh every single time they can.
He starts a lot of their offense. And for the gunman, I actually really like Rich as a D forward. I mean, I went to a cup with him as D forward. He just provides, really good possession, good defense, pretty good power forward.
Power forward.
No, he
really though. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's definitely one of the forwards you have to watch out when he's like trying to power to GK.
I mean, if you're going to talk about small forwards, if we're going full basketball here,
yeah.
TGFP would be a small forward, which is a power forward.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the gunmen are pretty well balanced. I think Rich help complements agilities.
Right.
Yiki, so you want to explain why you put the gunmen down at 5?
Basically, pretty much.
I mean, there's talking shit and there's talking shit. This is like
no, it's not that. Nothing personal about it. I basically ranked them at number 5 because of this week, and I think that as a team, they need to figure out a way. Okay, who's gonna play what position, and they have some availability issues with Rich, and that's something they really have to watch out for, because from what I know, Thunder, you can only make 2 out of 3 games. Rich, he can only make 1 or 2 games a week.
Just because
It's all
Thunder can
random.
make 2 out of every 3 games doesn't mean he's showing up. I mean, he was on tonight, and the
Right,
last time he was
right.
on was like 2 weeks ago.
Right, but I just think that, with Agilities and Hefe, like these 2 guys, they won a cup together last season, and I still personally don't understand why they're fighting in the middle of the game, arguing with each other, just because one of them makes a small mistake. I think that team is lacking discipline. Just a personal thought that Nape has to um, really find a solution for it. But I think, like you guys said, I mean, Rich is really bringing in, um, Rich is really like, keeping them on the edge. And I don't.
Well,
If
that
Rich
kind of
wasn't there,
dovetails a lot with what Under said, which is basically that they aren't the cup winners, and there's the biggest asterisk next to the Bears season 7, because Under couldn't make it last season. So
yeah, well,
he keeps telling me that they aren't the rightful winners and that the Penguins should have won. So I mean,
It's worth
the
noting that they
What's
haven't
that?
lost with Rich either.
Really didn't know that.
that's a surprising fact. Yeah.
Because both of their losses came on one day when
User
Rich
in
missed
your
a game.
channel timed out.
Oop,
Rest in
Under
peace,
said again.
Under. This is the kind of shit I have to deal with. This is why the Staplers are not number 1 or 2. Fucking ping.
I'll
Anyway,
trade Under.
let's move on. So we've got the squares hovering around 3-4 for most of us.
Yeah, I have them
Yeah.
at number 4.
I have them, I think, at 4-2. Yeah. I have them
So-
actually at 3.
What are we making
That's-
of their season so far?
Squares, let me just open their page. I mean,
Well, I
with
mean,
the addition
offhand, I
of-
can just say right now that they're missing Afro. He's AWOL, basically just
Yeah.
losing interest in hacks.
Well,
I don't
we
know if
beat
he's
them.
listening to this, but squares definitely need him.
I think they need to put Afro and GK as a starter. They need to have him at GK, and they need to, because he's the best GK they've got other than Fruitcake, but he doesn't play GK
And you need
anymore.
Fruit at forward, yeah.
Yeah, Fruit,
Rylan
I think he's a
and-
good D forward too.
Yeah, yeah,
They did that
Rylan
against us though and lost. But I think that's definitely their strongest lineup.
yeah.
It just
Yeah.
felt like when I played them, I was never worried about them scoring.
Right.
Well, to be
Basically,
fair,
they weren't-
Star hasn't been. He's rusty
Yeah.
for the first thing, and secondly, he
He's
hasn't
playing
played
mid.
mid really as a starter very often. I mean, he did season 19 when Squares won the cup, but he played a little more actively that season.
Right.
I think they're just a bit too predictable.
I mean, everyone knows Squares offense. Come on,
Yeah.
that's their thing. It's about stopping. It's not about like, oh, who knows what'll happen.
We
That's
can
true.
watch the last season's finals if you want to see the Squares offense. But yeah, you're pretty much right on that. But I think that if Squares can really pick it up and get back up there to number 2 or maybe even number 1 or at least top 3 permanently, if they can actually have Star get in play on a different level as mid than he's playing right now, and put Hash and Fruit at forward, and if Afro shows up at GK again, I think they can be a really strong team, But I just think that that team needs more creativity from the forwards, of or in offensive wise,
Yeah, yeah.
and but without that creativity, it'll just be the good old squares that we all know.
I was gonna say last season, Rylan really turned it on, and I was impressed. But this season, he's kind of reverted to the norm. I don't know if he's gonna go back to the way he was playing last season or just normal Rylan. But the Squares need him or someone to step up.
Well, just a question. As is, are they a cup contender, or are they just like a playoff filler team?
As is, no, they are normal Squares. They are not a contender for me.
I think they'll be semifinals.
Yeah,
contender.
semifinals. They're the
Yeah.
Clippers, really. Keep together the same players, never cup, never go to the conference finals.
Well,
that
never
kind of
cup.
thing.
You can change that with season 19 or 18.
This season,
I don't know whenever they won the
Clippers.
cup.
This season, the Clippers will probably go to the conference final unless something weird happens with standings. And season 19 was the same with the Squares, so I don't think it'll be them. All right, let's move on to. So we've got the Staplers around 4 or 5, and we've got Gunmen still at 5 with Yigi. But What do you guys make of my team?
Your team, you need a trade. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I was
We
gonna
just
say
beat the
too.
gunman. Hello?
Still, I mean, you need to trade for somebody that's either gonna mid or forward, or because you have Bema, you have Under. Both of these players are GKs, like originally GKs. Even though Under can forward or mid or D forward or CP at a really good level.
Well, that was part of the design. It's basically I drafted players who play defense for me.
Right.
Well, so I have y'all at 5, and the problem is I have. So you're gonna have board at GK. Is it Bima at mid, Under at forward now?
Yeah.
So I think you need to draft someone who's gonna, create something for. Or not draft, trade. And I think y'all should trade for Spart. I think he'd be the perfect
You need
fit
a
right now.
forward. Yeah, you need a forward
It
right now.
has
That's gonna
been
be
discussed, and we will see how that turns out. I will
But
not
I think-
discuss further Stapler's trade plans on this program.
Yeah, I think he's just like the perfect fit for y'all.
Stapler's trade plans. But I think you need to put Bema at GK and Under at mid, because I think Under fits the best as a mid in your team right now, and Bema fits the best as a GK right now.
Well, at the
And-
moment, Under is our strongest cross guard since Leverage is in Turkey. I mean, ordinarily we'd have like a lineup we could experiment with, but right now that through a
you need to pretty much shop for a D forward so we can put Under at mid.
I am looking for.
That's-
I don't know if you guys, Yigi saw the thread, but Prizzle didn't. I just made a thread like a couple days ago asking for a 4th player, like any
What?
position.
I'm sorry, you made like 29 threads the past 3 days.
I do
No
like
offense.
board at GK though.
Yeah.
So I
yeah,
think
he
it's
played
fine
well.
to keep. I think it's fine to keep Under at forward and Beam at mid, because I think board is
yeah.
actually his best position is maybe GK, just because at forward he's good, but he kind of chases a little bit. And at GK
Yeah,
he's just.
I didn't
gets
like
down.
his forward when we put him there. Mid and GK is his
Yeah,
future.
he did good
for
at
sure.
mid.
But yeah, so I don't put us as contenders yet. Maybe one player away, similar to Squares.
I
On our
think
way.
Lev as well. I don't know if he's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
a starter for y'all, but I think he'd be a really good 5th man.
We need
I-
we
Yeah.
need another guy to come back, either a trade or Leverage to come back early, something like that.
I
I
think
really
even
like
if you get
playing with
Lev
Lev.
back,
But he's been so fucking passive when I played with him lately.
Yeah,
So
I
if he
don't
can
think he was
change it up-
totally comfortable at forward. I think he'd rather be back at mid.
I could see that. So I mean, if he gets up to speed, he'll be good for y'all too.
Yeah, yeah.
if you get him to mid for you, you can put Under at D forward, and you can if you get Spart or somebody, that's good. That's a good CP.
Well, then Bimo
then-
would be GK, bro.
GK, which would
Well-
be fine. I mean, but
Are you planning to keep yourself in the starting lineup then, Stapler? Or
Well, until someone starts outperforming me. Prizzle talking shit again about
No,
Disturb
no, I'm just
when
like-
he's
I'm
now
just
a
saying,
D2
like-
player.
I don't know how aggressive you're being with trying to trade. Like, for example, if you got someone of Spart's caliber,
Then Spart would not be playing CP though. I mean, just how it'd be. I don't think we would need that. I think we'd need his spark from further back. Like I might put him at GK actually, or
Oh,
mid
come
or
on,
D
man.
forward.
come on.
dude. I mean, I'm
I'm kind
you
of
shouldn't be
trolling
making
here.
these wrong decisions.
Anyway, let's move on. So we got the turtles.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
your team resurgent. I don't know how you're getting results, but definitely are.
I
done.
actually, you guys comment on it first. I'll comment last.
All
on
right,
my team.
let me lay this down. I don't know how, but King comes back after not having played for like a month, 2 months. I don't even know, and suddenly he's
More,
just
I
like
think.
winning hacksball games, deep into overtime, playing defense, creating, and then Yigi's on point with his mid now. Like when we played you guys a while ago, I think it was last week. It was kind of bad, and there was no chem with you and Frank, but you've got a team
Yeah.
behind you. You're like also putting in a lot of players like Yas, Diego. You got a deep team. I don't know if you have enough like star power
Mhm.
necessarily, but like you have a deep team, which is very, very nice. And I don't know, you can make a push for playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and I have you guys at number 6, but who is your starting GK?
It's Yas.
Okay, then never mind. I have y'all at number 7.
Oh
Mador.
shit.
I was not a big
Yas
fan
is
of him.
elite.
Why is
Will
Diego
defend
not
my
starting?
boy.
Okay. Well, if I were to, let me comment on my team. Okay.
Yeah, comment.
So, the reason I'm putting Yas in is I don't think that he's a better GK than Diego. Definitely not. As I mean, Diego has way more experience and than Yas in D1 or
Yeah, okay.
in the past. But I honestly don't think that his ping could hold up, and I don't want to end up in a situation where I get stuck like in a playoff when let's say we make it to the playoffs or it's a really important game and all of a sudden he lags right before he clears. Like I just don't want to take that chance. And I also want to give Yas a chance because this is pretty much like his I think it's his first season in
No, he
D1.
won. He was nominated Rookie of the Year under me in D1, and he
Like
played a little bit before. But as a
this
full
will be
season
his
as a
like
starter,
full
he
season,
hasn't done
yeah.
that before.
So I kind of want to give him a chance too because I think he's a GK that does need improvements here and there, but I play pretty well with him. Um, so I think I'm gonna be keeping him as the starting GK and maybe try to find a trade for Diego. But as the forwards go, as my forwards go, that's kind of what I've been struggling with.
And who is your two starting forwards right now?
Right
Do you
now,
even know?
right now it's going to see that's the question. I have four.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But the problem is Vinny, he can only make 2 out of 3 games a week, so he's definitely not going to be a starter. But he would have been if he could have made all the games. But I've been putting real for some time, but I just haven't really found a chemistry with him yet. I like Randy. Like I personally, I'm somebody that thinks that chemistry matters more than a star player, unless you can get star players on your team.
Well, yeah,
which
that's to your
I
credit.
can't.
I mean, you're making a team not necessarily full of stars, but you're all playing to one style, which I can definitely appreciate.
Right, and I think the addition of Randy, which hopefully if next week, which just a little story about him, he got caught by the police for downloading a torrent.
What?
His ISP got knocked off or something like that, or his ISP knocked his internet off. But he should be back next week. But I think that our one of my at least starting forwards right now is Randy, and the second one right now would be King. But I want to say that King has really rusty, and I just looked at his stats, and he hasn't played since like season 18, um, or at least full time. Or the last time he played was season 23, but it was like 90 minutes. But anyways, I just think that if I could possibly find one more forward, especially a really good CP, and find a chemistry that we're lacking right now, I think we could be a you know contender team where we could turn this whole thing around. But pretty much, yeah, my main issue right now is
Just figuring out
forwards.
your starting lineup. What
Yeah,
you want to go
who's
with
gonna
going
start?
forward.
Who's gonna start
Yeah.
at forward? Pretty much.
Well, I'm fine with the Kim approach, but I just don't think Yas is good enough. I think you need a GK.
Boo.
Well, who would have put him?
I mean, I like your approach though. I think King's been doing fine. I think
I
you
think
should try
that-
to convert CK Tony as a GK.
DK is more of a mid actually. He
Well, yeah.
plays a little bit better mid, but then
Before the
if-
draft, I talked to Tony about it, and he was adamant that he didn't want to play GK.
Okay, then maybe. Well,
he
are
plays
you
good
adamant
mid.
about midding, or would you GK Yiggy?
I would only GK if I could bring somebody like Miles into my team.
Oh, okay.
A
Like,
career mid.
like that, like a career mid, or somebody like, or even Bema. I would be okay with Bema, for example. Which we
A
could
career
talk about
mid,
that trade
yeah.
stapler after
But
this.
Iggy is no, you're not getting Bema. Get out of here. But yeah, you're turning into a career mid. I will accept your play is awesome, and
I
not
don't
mad
think
at
my
all
play
about
has
you not
been
GKing.
really
Well, in the last
top
week,
notch.
you've been
know.
improving. Like over the course of the season, iffy. But this last week, you,
Yeah.
you did better.
I guess. I mean, the Huskies game kind of really brought me
Oh
down.
well,
But,
I feel like that's
you know.
an anomaly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Lions now. I mean, we both have them at
Lions.
7. We all have them at 7, but man, they did get some really good results. I feel really bad about putting them that low.
Yeah.
I feel bad too. Especially, I mean, I've been playing with Monskar the past couple of days in pubs, and this guy's been improving a lot.
Yeah, dude, that
'minute,
20-minute OT with Mont playing mid in that room you had earlier. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
The guy's
he's
gotten
really
good.
improved, but I just don't understand why they're not, you know, winning games. Like they lost against the Turtles,
know why.
against us. He lost against the Gunmen, and I mean they had a 3-win game streak. I mean, 3-game win streak, but then they lost to the Turtles and the Gunmen. It's like they need to
They need
find
more
a little bit.
consistency. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. They need to be more stable. And,
Well,
go ahead. First
from what I've seen, and I haven't watched them too much, but I mean I've played with them in pubs and whatnot. It's just they pass like beyond slow. Like there's slow passing, then there's how they play. It's entirely too obvious. I mean I like what they've been doing though, and there's like a log jam for me like from like 4 to 7. Personally, if I was Flossie, I'd probably convert Compass into a mid or a GK. From what I've seen, my limited time of seeing him play.
Something interesting would be putting WCK at D forward, Compass at GK. I feel like
Yeah,
that would
exactly.
speed up their play a lot.
He did play D forward before in the
Yeah,
past.
He's played well there.
Yeah.
He played forward for me in season 10, and he did fine. Like I think he was like one of the top assist people in the league.
That could be an
But
interesting.
knowing Flossie, I
transition.
feel like he'll keep it the same just because he's very comfy with this team as it is, even if he doesn't make playoffs.
What is it playoff rules, by the way? Like, is it top 7 teams or like
It's top
everybody makes
5.
playoffs? Top 5. Oh,
4 and 5 are in the play-in game, like an actual play-in game, no tournament.
Wow. I thought 7 teams made it.
That was last season,
Interesting.
and that was pretty retarded. Even though
Yeah.
our team was beneficiaries of that.
And I think if they put Compass as like a GK and convert him there, they could kind of have like like the Mayberries, kind of like a box.
Yeah,
kinda
they
just
could
pass the
box
ball
a lot more.
around.
In modern Hacksball, like people saying like, "Oh, the league's dead now." I mean, the Hacksball ability now is higher than it's ever been. I mean, pretty much every team boxes. Pretty much every team you have to
Buses
bust
too.
if you
Yeah.
want to like not concede goals. Like you can't play normal CP defense. You can't.
Right.
Like it's been ridiculous because if I've ever been on the mid like before when we were losing, Under was telling me to just be there because that's how he's always done it, and I felt like helpless and like I was getting murdered on D. As soon as we start bussing like every other team, like fucking squares, 2 people in the fucking corner. Jesus Christ, I could go on like an hour-long diatribe about this, but every player is a lot better than they were than like 5-6 seasons ago.
I think it's really this season is really intense.
Yeah,
It's
really
really
tight
competitive.
games.
And I think a lot of people are thinking it's not competitive, but it really is. Because you just don't know who's gonna make the playoffs and who's gonna fall out. It's like uncertain. There's that uncertainty.
I wouldn't say there's a super high level team outside of the Husky situation, but there is parity.
Yeah. Would you? I don't really remember playing in D1 that much in season 20 during the last redraft. How do you guys remember that season compared to now?
Season 20, I wasn't here. Sorry, was
Frizzle?
that?
I think
Was
there was
that-
pretty good parity that season.
That was your Fresno Forest Fires with Diablo,
Yeah.
right?
Season 20, I was leading Valhalla and RuneScape as a warlord.
I think there were
Frizzle.
generally like 4 or 5 contenders. You could tell.
Like you had T90's team, you had your team. I don't remember the
Nami's,
other teams.
Nami's, and you said T90.
Yeah, I said T90 with
An Elite Four.
right.
That was with Linrose, Nash. I can't remember the other
Pavelski.
people.
Well, Lindros played with Nash and Pavelski.
Pavelski and Fruit, I think.
Wow, that's interesting.
I feel like they had someone better. I don't know. Oh, Muffin.
No,
I
no,
think.
dude, they got to finals. Lindros got to finals and then lost with Pavelski and Nash as his forwards. It's still the most impressive thing I've ever seen in Hacksball.
Well,
Nash
Lindros
is
and
pretty good, I think, but
Lindros and
He
Pav
was
had-
at his peak then, but still, I mean, Nash and Pavelski compared to, what was it, Negative Bro, and I don't remember the other Nami's forward, but it was an all-star team, and then it was basically Lindros, like one-man band.
yeah, it was Muffin at GK.
Oh, it was Muffin.
Yeah, they had a pretty strong lineup then, I guess. But yeah, so that's 7 teams pretty much. And not sure if we should talk about Huskies at all, or
I mean, I think they're the top team if they do, but okay, yeah, we can talk about D2 a little bit. I don't know how much attention have y'all been paying attention to? I worded that terribly.
I've been paying some attention to mainly Pixies and Storm. and keys. Not so much to the other teams, but you know, I'm actually, as we're talking about this, I'm actually training a couple goalkeepers that are pretty new to the game. And some of them are in D2 playing right now, and I just think that it's a little competitive, other than Pixies and Keys. Like if you look at Storm, Elite Four, Dinobots, and Shaolin, and maybe include Illuminati there, it's pretty getting intense there, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how these teams turn out. I mean, by the last week of the season,
Well, for you right
Um,
now, is it a two-man race
pretty much.
with
Yeah,
the Keys and Pixies?
right.
Frizzle, I'm sure you're gonna back your guys on Storm though, right?
Oh yeah, I'm loving what the Storm are doing out on the field.
Dude, can you explain to me how they keep winning?
Dude, I'm telling you, Oscillator is like one of the weirdest fucking players you'll ever see.
Definitely. I've played with him before, and I still don't get how. Like, he plays. It's ridiculous.
Oh man.
But it works.
He's
Well,
like, I won't corner, but I play mid, and then he'll like want to rotate with you, and
Yeah.
then I don't get it.
that's pretty much how I play
It's
with
the
him in
weirdest
pubs.
shit.
You know, I would start as a mid in pubs, and he would start as a D forward or forward. Just and like 30 seconds into the game, he would just play mid, and like not even switch back. And it's weird, but it looks like it's kind of working out in D2 for him.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
mean-
just
for his team
kind of
at least.
gotta turn your brain off and like do what you think he'll do.
Yeah, you just gotta play to him, I guess. It's just
Exactly.
like how people play with XGen and Wayne and Hannah. I mean, you play naturally. You just rotate where the space is. It makes sense.
Hmm
With him, it's like the complete polar opposite. Like, I can't explain it.
I will say he has been playing good team ball, even if it is weird as fuck. They play as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell. I mean, he's got TYBG and like Pick and Gleg. Fucking Gleg.
Yeah, and they had
Holy
G Baller.
fucking shit. How is he getting Gleg like top 3 GAA? Like, I played against that dude in EHL, or whatever it's called, the 3v3 league. He
Yeah.
was probably the worst player I've ever seen in my life. Flossie won it.
Hey, I
Flossie
mean-
and Alexa rage quit mid game just because it was so bad. That dude's a legit player now.
But
I don't know who he
these
is,
new
but, yeah.
players, though. I mean, he's actually one of the guys I'm helping out, and
Really?
like, yeah, and it's these guys. They're pretty much our future. I mean, if they continue
Yeah.
playing, within a season or 2 or 3 seasons, they're gonna be average players. And
Yeah, that could be getting some D1 minutes. I wouldn't
yeah,
think Gleg could play D1 GK at present. I'm not sure how, but
definitely
he could.
not. I mean, he wouldn't start, but he would.
He
I mean,
could play in D1. Is all I'm saying.
especially after Huskies used Hung and Unlucky GK at D1
Yeah, dude, unlucky
and won a
GK
game
like played really good too.
and had a fucking goal against us. And I was like,
The hell?
baseballing. Like that was one of the really luckiest GK goals that I ever
That's
seen.
another thing. Like all this influx of talent, I don't know where it's coming from. Like there were some videos, like some shit went down that caused people to join HBANs, the Australian League. Like there was that new league with EHL that I mentioned before. There was another one, like this guy Messi. Where did he
Yeah.
come from? Like where are these people coming from?
He's from EHL.
I know, but like what got all these people interested? Now like all of a sudden there's like 10 rooms during the day. You guys noticed that, right?
True.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's
Holy crap.
most of them are these players. It's not even like good players playing it most of the time. It's just the new players, which is good. I mean, it's bringing some.
I remember not too long ago, you'd look at the room list and there'd be like 2 American or Canadian rooms. I'd be like, it wasn't even DDoS. It was just no one was playing. And then all of a sudden, Haxwell is completely revitalized.
Well,
A lot of
basketball
them
is
do
a
play
fun
real
game.
soccer too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Real
I think so.
Soccer's resurgence definitely has helped.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
can definitely find real soccer pubs, but I don't think it has a league right now.
No, well, I think Jeff, as a sideline, Jeff got invited to form a real soccer team that will compete in Europe. So
Oh.
that's something to monitor. I'll try to
Okay.
get some information on that.
I have a
and
question
post
on
in the
one thing
forums.
about D2. Do you guys
What's
think that with the addition of all these new players, there should be, or D1 caliber players should be able to play in D2? Because I think that was
Oh,
an
not
issue.
this again.
Well, personally, I wouldn't allow certain people to GM. If I was commish next season, I would ban Drag from GMing D2.
I mean, I just think that it's kind of taken that shine off those new players.
Chinny and
that are-
Drag are ruining D2. Well,
Kind
it's not
of,
Chinny.
yeah.
DJ Khaled. I mean, my biggest problem is all these GMs aren't using their waivers on guys
Yeah.
like Zelos, Crow. Hello, these guys are like Zelos went to the semis last season. Do you not know who he is? If you're the GM of the like second last place team, like Escrow should know better. He should be grabbing people. I'm so pissed. I made a call out thread in the Keys locker room. It got cleared by a Chinny, so I'll just summarize. Raptor needs to step up, use his waiver, fucking refresh. GMs, new GMs, this is what you do. As soon as waivers run, when Nape does it, hit F5 as fast as possible until the new players go into free agency and you sign them for free. That's how this works.
So the players that haven't been signed off the waivers go into free agency.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Did you not know that?
Really?
Yeah, they do, and that's why people like Chinny would always, sign people who don't
Oh
go through
my
waivers and
God.
trade them for eighths.
Yigi,
Holy shit, that's 8s.
Yigi, please.
There is one team I'd actually like to highlight. I think Illuminati could be a little bit better.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I was really
definitely.
surprised by that.
I actually really like MTA. Whenever I play with him and Pubs, he's been doing good lately.
Yeah, him and O'Grady were like a solid duo. I don't understand why they're like now like, are they the worst team in D2 now? I haven't kept track of the standings.
They're pretty low.
They're number 7.
I mean, it looks
Damn.
like MTA hasn't played that many minutes, so maybe that could be why. But
It could be why, yeah.
they signed Dot, who's I think he's pretty good as far as
Who?
D2 goes. Dot,
Dod's not on their
Phase.
team anymore though. Or Phase? He's Phase?
Yeah.
Okay.
and they recently
and-
traded for Kitty, who had told LAHC to sign, and
Dude,
she's pretty
DL
good.
is
Kitty's
DL's
being,
okay, I guess, but he can't show up very much. That's just like a non-trade. Sending her 8th. They need to make a bigger trade. Get a real player in or use their waiver or something, man. Come on.
Honestly, MTA has been improving a lot as a player, and I think this.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see this team be in top 5 right now and get
Yeah.
their shit together.
Yeah.
Either
because
that,
they
or-
have. Yeah.
I would like
Go
to
ahead.
see him go to the Lions, maybe, kind of help them out. Some D1
Yeah.
team. I think he could play in D1.
MTA definitely. Is he the AGM right now? I feel like
Yeah,
O'Grady won't
AGM.
let him go for any reason.
Oh, they're. I think they're good IRL buddies. So, because I've tried to trade for MTA, like 3 weeks ago, and they just wouldn't give him up because I think they're really tight.
And other than that, Elite Four was kind of disappointing. They need a mid.
Yeah, Gats, he's done okay. Either Luciano just takes over permanently at mid, or I don't know. They trade for somebody. They should be a
actually-
lot better than they are.
It feels like D2 is lacking mids. Maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but
I mean, Illuminati doesn't really have one. MTA is there mid, but he hasn't shown up enough. Elite Four doesn't have one. The Dinobots. who's
it's like
their mid?
converted mids. I think Y is midding for him, maybe.
Yeah, they have a lot of converted players in D2, which is weird. Like Flu is playing forward and mid a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anything else to add on Division 2?
Not much. I just think you guys want to give them any last word advices for any of the new GMs. Any advice you guys want to give? Or
They need to use their waivers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
use your waivers, guys. That's all we
And-
can say.
And don't be scared about asking any of the D1 GMs for any advice. Like, what should I do with my team? Where should I play my guys? I mean, I've had actually 2 GMs ask me that, and it could help them out. I mean, it's just stay on top of your game, I guess. But I guess
Oh.
you guys want to do shoutouts now, or
Well, speaking of waiver, this
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of unrelated, but why did the Mayberries use their waiver on Hop?
Yeah, I was so surprised.
they
by
did?
that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
They would have been number 2 this week too.
They could have had Rex instead.
They could
got
they
Hop.
could have had Lingers.
Like, all right. Okay, guys, makes sense, Jeff.
And they don't desperately need anyone, so
They
it's
don't
kind of
need
weird
Hop.
to me.
He's not gonna play over any of their other guys. I mean, like I like Hop, but I mean, hello, you okay?
So I just thought it was a little bit odd.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere.
And actually, speaking of waivers, so this is the problem. The Keys actually have the number 2 waiver right now,
Yeah.
just because they sign everyone after waivers run.
I was pretty sure before the season started that we decided that D1 teams would be like as soon as you used it, you would go to 8 and you wouldn't go any lower, and
Yeah,
then
I
D2
thought the same
teams wouldn't
thing.
go any higher than 9 or whatever it is. But then all of a sudden, Nape's like, oh, never mind. Just going to go against that.
I thought that's a little bit
Alright.
odd.
Hopefully next season we can go back to that, because really, these D2 teams should be having these kind of players. I mean, if you fall
Yeah.
through waivers anyways, there's nothing we can do about it, really. It's just
'Cause-
stupid GMs, but yeah.
Nika and Neg could sign up right now, and the Keys would get one of them. I think that's a problem.
Definitely. I mean, they wouldn't, just because they're smart, although they wouldn't do
Well,
that.
it'll
but
be a
still,
problem because
Wait, what do you mean?
Chinny's a GM.
do you think Nika and Neg would honestly sign up to play in D2?
No, I'm saying like they would sign them, and then they would have that big trade piece.
Oh, yeah, and then we don't want D2 teams ending up with firsts.
Yeah.
It's
like-
just, come on, man.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get that fixed.
Alright, let's do shoutouts.
You guys can shout.
Big shout out to my boy Raptor. He should be up for GM of the Year in his first season. And DJ Khaled, clear favorite for GM of the Year. We got a lot of new blood and very excited about these guys.
I would like to give a shout out to all the new players that are actually active and playing almost every day, or playing Axball almost every day, and keep it up, guys. I mean, this is a fun game. Don't get too involved with it. Don't put your eyeball over it, but keep it up. I mean, and within a season or two, you guys will be top players.
I'd just like to give a shout out to Jeremy Lin. Keep doing what you're doing.
Also, Vank is gay.
Yeah, we all know that.
Oh, and also, welcome back, Blade.
Oh, that's true.
Kinda.
He's back.
Alright, until next time, friends.
Alright.
Yeah, thanks
Take
for
care,
tuning in.
guys.
We'll try to make this more polished in the future, but it's gonna kind of be a podcast format.
Yeah, this was only kind of quick because of the current, issues we've been having the past couple days.
Okay, end it.
But, yeah. Good night.